Welcome, everyone. Wow, this is a big room. We're so excited to be here today and share what's new in Agent Platform and do a deeper dive on what we just announced in the keynote and show a little bit about how some of our customers are adopting the Agent Platform already. My name is Aman Khan. I'm a group product manager on the Agent Platform team, focusing on agent governance. And I'm joined by Lavi on our DevRel team, who's going to be doing a demo of some of what we talked about earlier today, as well as some amazing partners from L'Oreal, Gautier, and Thomas, who are going to be showing how they're already adopting the Agent Platform for production workflows today. So I want us to zoom out really quick before we jump into all of this and think about how exactly 1 year ago, you learned about ADK. We showed you all Agent Engine. We wowed you with a bunch of demos, like the autonomous plant store. And we're really excited about what was really possible with the agentic AI cloud that we launched last year. But since then, we've actually made a number of improvements, like in November, when we launched the basics of additions of governance and the basics of deployment to allow you to go from prototype to production. And it feels like things are changing again, right? This should feel familiar. Your competitors are moving faster. The industry is moving at an exponential rate. And technology isn't moving linear anymore. It's advancing exponentially. But everyone's organization is still in this sort of logarithmic trend. And the curve sort of flattens out, right? Think organizational challenges, compliance, security, getting your whole org bought in on a single stack. That's why you have to think about step functions in how you operate. And that's what we're going to be talking about, how the Agent Platform enables these step function improvements to how you can adopt agentic AI applications. So a year ago, everything was sort of centered around chatbots, right? Like RAG chat applications. Every demo was a chatbot. But now it's pretty clear that agents are the engine of our business. Think of it this way. I heard this analogy earlier this week, and it's really stuck with me. Everyone can get in a Toyota Camry and drive it. It's a reliable car. It's stable, runs well. That's traditional software development. But with agents, we're building race cars. We're building Formula One race cars. These are highly sophisticated instruments that can do real work in your business. But you can't just run a race car in YOLO mode. You wouldn't put an electric car in self-driving mode and just floor it, right? Actually, quick question for folks in the room. How many people have actually tried OpenClaw and built something with OpenClaw? How many folks have heard of OpenClaw at least? OK, there we go. Think of it this way. What would you say if someone came up to you and said, hey, maybe we should put OpenClaw in our business and let it start running and see what happens? Yeah, that's kind of a crazy proposition. But what if it wasn't that crazy? What if it actually worked? Well, you need guardrails to make sure that when you're building agents, you're doing it in a way that's integrated with an end-to-end stack, with context in mind from the start. And that's what we're here to do today. We're going to show you how to have an end-to-end ability with building agents using the Agent Platform. To enable this shift, we're combining Gemini Enterprise with the Agent Platform in one story, one narrative, and one seamless experience. Gemini Enterprise is the doorstep for everyone in your organization to get started with AI. And Agent Platform is where your developers build. What this means is that your business's processes stop being disconnected. Agents and data can actually flow through your enterprise without friction. There's no handoff tax between what your developers are building on the back end and what your employees and customers actually use. At the top, the surfaces that your users interact with, like the Gemini app, custom apps, things that partners may build. And then in the middle, the Agent Platform, which is where your developers actually live. The Runtime, registry, gateway, identity, observability, and evals. All of that sits on top of Google Cloud's AI stack. The hypercomputer, agentic data cloud, and agent defense. This foundation is what gives you a real edge in performance and security because you don't need to stitch together 5 different vendors to get this. Now let's zoom into the Agent Platform layer. Agent Platform is a vertically integrated stack that lets you move from basic idea to a production-ready agent without having to rebuild the underlying plumbing every single time you start a new project. With Agent Platform, you get best-in-class support with open-source native tooling to build agents the way you want to build them. Our goal centers on 3 areas. First, deeper investment in a richer ecosystem and interoperability. Second, ease of use to get started so that your entire team can collaborate in one place. And third, customizability, because we know that off-the-shelf agents don't just work. You have to hook them up to your data, your tools, and run within the bounds of your business. So that's the core foundation for your developers, your AI engineers, your AI product managers to get started with building agents. Agent Platform lets you build, scale, govern, and optimize agents that can scale infinitely in the cloud. Now we're going to get into the how. We'll spend time on each part of the stack, what's new and why it matters, and then we'll talk you through this from the perspective of a developer that's planning agents in your business this year. So I want you to kind of put yourself in that mindset, right? Like, what are the agents that you're thinking about in this next half that can really move the needle for your business? And let's see what it would take to actually ship that with the Agent Platform. If there's any parts that really stand out, come and find one of us for a deeper dive after this presentation. Let's start from the beginning, building. ADK has been our foundation to help you get started with building, and this year we've made some major advancements to make it even more powerful and extensible as an agent harness framework. Google uses ADK widely throughout the business, from bets in different parts of Alphabet to core products and services you've probably interacted with just today. It's designed to help you scale from the smallest agent to the most complex multi-agent system and to enable interoperability. A few exciting launches we're excited to announce. Graph-based orchestration means you can model real business processes, real work branches and loops and conditional paths. You have agent collaboration, which means you can decompose complex problems across specialized agents instead of trying to cram everything into one single monolithic agent. And then you have batch and event-driven workflows so that agents can actually react to things in real time that are happening in your system versus just reacting when a human tells them to. We also are excited to share that we have native skill definitions in ADK, which means you can define a skill once and reuse it everywhere else ADK is being used in your business. Getting started is also about to get a whole lot easier. We're excited to launch a new agent CLI and skills for building, evaluating, and deploying AI agents on Google Cloud. Agent CLI is built with ADK and our agent runtime in mind so that that knowledge of our entire platform is actually baked into these skills and CLIs that you're getting to use. So if you're just getting started with building an agent, the CLI can handle everything around it, like the scaffolding, evaluation, deployment, and observability. And it works in 2 ways. You can either just pass the CLI and skills to the coding agents that you're already using, like Claude Code, Gemini CLI, Codex, or others, and the coding agent can make the right decisions. Or if you're not using a coding agent, you can just run the CLI commands directly from your terminal, and every command works standalone. Personally, I found it incredibly helpful to help get my agents stood up in our environment, and we're just getting started with out-of-the-box primitives for building on top of the platform. Next, let's talk about scale. Building agents is step 1, but running agents in confidence in production is the critical next step. This starts with deploying your agent to a runtime that enables you to serve thousands or even millions of users right out of the box. With Agent Platform, we're making the runtime significantly more powerful with sub-second cold starts. And we've added the capability to bring your own container for ultimate flexibility for how you want to run those agents. We also know that agents don't just run out of the box on a task for a long duration without some serious configuration, which is why we're excited to share that the agent engine now also supports individual agents to be able to run on a single plan without any human intervention for up to 7 days. And that's alongside our already supported advanced multi-agent orchestration. Plus, we're adding bi-directional streaming to handle more complex real-time interactions like that Gemini Flash demo you saw earlier for low latency streaming interactions. Agents shouldn't start from scratch with every conversation. Without memory, your agent has no idea what happened yesterday, what the user prefers, what failed last time. And now, with sessions and memory bank, agents get persistent memory so that they get smarter over time by retaining context, recalling preferences, and learning over time so that you can build an intelligence layer that compounds. The session service is also framework agnostic, so you can define custom session fields to capture signals like user feedback. Agents are most powerful when they can act in the real world, so we're excited to share a number of sandbox features in GA. Code execution sandboxes lets agents run in the real world on real-world tasks, while bringing your own container support allows you to define and use custom environments when you have strict requirements. Agents can now interact with GUIs so that they can use the computer use sandbox as well. Context makes agents smarter, and sandboxes make agents more useful. Together, you go from a chatbot that answers questions to an autonomous system that remembers what it's supposed to be doing, how to do it, and can actually go and execute tasks. Next, let's talk about governance. We're thinking about governance as an end-to-end part of our stack. Your governance story shouldn't be pieces that you're going to pull together from different vendors or legacy services you already have. You really need to think about governance as a critical part of the stack that works through the runtime all the way through to optimization, evals, observability. Agent Platform provides that foundation for trust for every agent that you deploy. And we're excited to share that the agent identity is now in GA. You can manage permissions just like you would any other user in your organization with granular controls to ensure every action is authorized and auditable. Whether you're a chief compliance officer or a risk officer or just a developer, you've probably asked yourself, what are all of these different agents that I have across my business in the first place? Agent Registry helps you answer that question by listing all the agents that have been registered automatically via our Agent Runtime or the Agent Registry system. When agents are registered, you're able to see what tools those agents have access to, what services they can call, and it's just really, this is a great starting point to really see how agents are being used across your enterprise. On top of that, we've made some serious enhancements to how you can secure your agents in your environment using Model Armor, which can block prompt injection, prevent data leaks in real time. You need to be able to monitor your agents' interactions and actions, and that's why we've launched proactive threat management directly integrated within the platform. And we're also launching Agent Gateway, which is a control plane for enterprise agents. The Agent Gateway simplifies how you secure and govern all of your agent traffic so you can set granular controls like access to specific tools. And if you need something custom, it's fully extensible. So we're really thinking about governance as an end-to-end story. It's not bolted on as an afterthought. We think governance should span from prototype to production, and it includes the perimeters and boundaries to define what your agent can and cannot do in your environment. Today, we're launching those foundational components with batteries included, but our vision is that governance is architecturally integrated throughout the platform, and our goal is to build features so that the users of our platform don't need to be experts in governance to ship agents that organizations can trust. It's really, we think of it as like an agent alignment problem. So we're excited to launch this foundation, and we're going to use it to build out a full governance story going forward. All right, we're rounding out here. We're going to get into this last pillar, optimization. Now, when it comes to optimization, here's what makes our approach different. You get the benefit of the research of DeepMind and how they build evals with a specialized set of tools for online and offline evals and continuous monitoring without having to have an army of researchers inside your own business. We provide you with that army of researchers throughout the agent platform because Google has invested deeply in how to evaluate our own agents, and you're getting the benefits of that investment because it's the same product. We're shipping auto raters, which are out-of-the-box scorers for offline and online evals, as well as an evaluation expert skill to make evaluation with the coding agent even simpler by passing them that skill and saying, hey, set up evals for me in the system. We're also shipping ADK optimization, which is based on JEPA prompt optimization. With agent platform optimization, you're getting a single pane of glass because your whole team is already in the agent platform. The things slowing down your agents today aren't the model, it's tool calls, it's context, and when you build, govern, deploy, and optimize all in one system, you get a continuous feedback loop to really improve the agent over time. That means you get production quality agents that get better over time without needing to stitch together a bunch of different vendors and tools to get this out of the box. All right, that was a lot of ground, and with that, I'd like to welcome up Lavi to the stage, and he's going to take us through a demo of the agent platform.
All right, let's switch to the demo. Perfect. So Aman did talk about a lot of things. What we're going to do is we're going to see live what is available to you right now in your Cloud Console. I'm going to go to one of my projects, and this is the Agent Studio. So this is the new studio that you see. So Vertex AI is now sort of called as Agent Studio, where you have agents, you have app builder, generate media. As you can see, you can actually add agents here directly, whatever agents that you've built. So I'll start with this. The next thing I want to show is that you can actually create your new agents right away. So the moment I do this, you can see that there's a UI now, and you don't have to write code if you don't want to, but if you wish to, you can actually just do the UI designer part of that. What we also have is a bunch of different agents which are available as Agent Garden. So if you have already used Model Garden, you know that what it allows you to do is access different kinds of models beyond Gemini. Very similarly, Agent Garden gives you access to different kinds of agents which are either built by Google or somebody outside of that. So you can actually choose a bunch of these different agents right away and then sort of build over that or just use it as is. As you can see, we have so many different options available here which you can use and get started. We also have something which is ADK 2.0. Like Aman was mentioning, that we have introduced many of the new features, especially the graph-based workflows that you can actually now build in ADK. So you can actually use that and see how you can build over this. Oops, sorry. So the next is the ADK. So this is where you actually, again, get a lot of access to ADK docs right in your platform. And this is where you should be able to start with any of the documentations which are required. The other thing which is very important, and I'll come back to this at the other stage, which is at the Agent Registry part, but you now have a centralized access where you can actually see all the MCP servers that you have, whether it's your server outside, and you can sort of have a central location where you can see this. You also get vector search and drag engine. So this is again something that we had before, but now it sort of all comes under the build stage. So you have all of these accessible right to you, and you can sort of define your vector search. You can create new indexes if you wish to, all the options that are available to you. You can also create drag engine if you wish to do that, and you can sort of create corpus around it. And then the last one is the search. So search is very important because, again, a lot of search that you want to do, a lot of agents that you want to build, you need inbuilt capability for them to search through your documents. And that's what search sort of gives you access to, which is you can create a custom search, or you can sort of do a media search as per that. The next thing, which is very important, this is one of my favorite, which is the agent engine part of it. So once you're done building, whether by designer or by code, one of the very important things that you want to do is you want to use the agent engine to scale your agents, right? And we have new runtimes which are there. The way this looks like is that you have all the agents that you see here. So these are a bunch of agents that I was experimenting, and you can see those agents here. Once I click on this, the best part you can actually see is, let me sort of select this. Oops, sorry. I'm going to select one of the old agents that I was playing with, and this is where you can actually see a bunch of metrics. So for example, you get the overall view as to how many sessions were there, you see the evaluations, you see how many model calls were made, you also see the tools that are there. For example, I did close to 100 model calls on this. You also get to see the tools. So this is again all the tools calls that happen in your agent and the overall usage as well. So this is again very important because you need that visibility into what your agent has done, and this sort of deployment sort of section gives you the complete view of that. The other very important things are the traces. Traces are very important because if something goes wrong in your agent, you need to have a view of that. The way that happens is if you're using ADK, you have session IDs, and these sessions IDs are very important. So the moment you click on this, you actually get to see all the sessions and all that has happened. And you can then individually go and see the trace view or the span view, sort of just to get to the part where things have not worked out. The other important thing is you have access to sessions. So if your users are using and you have like thousands of sessions, you can actually see all individual sessions because now they have IDs which are exposed to you. The best part is you also have a playground, so it's not that you just do a local testing. You actually have a way where you can test your agents right away in the playground. So just to show you a couple of examples, if you open, you can actually see all the stuff that somebody has been playing or you have played with this in that sense. It also has memories now, so if you have written your own memories or you have written skills or logic which can extract these memories, you will see that here as well. Going to the next, which is the memory bank, this is again very important because you do want to have memories in your agents in terms of things which the user wants you to remember. And now you have a centralized place where you can store all of these things in a simple way. Again, session I've shown you, which is very simple, all the access to the sessions. The next thing which is very important is the governance part, which is where you have access to all the agent registry. So this is where I wanted to show you that now you have a centralized view where you have access to all the agents which are available in the agent platform. You also have all the MCP servers, so at least you now get to have a centralized place where you can govern them. The most important part is that you get to see how many tools are registered inside it, and there's a specific ID which is associated, which means you can sort of create a governance chain around that. Similarly, you have endpoints, and you can sort of add these MCP servers and all of those things. Same with policies. Again, because now you have all of this as a central ID level, which means that you can actually add new policies and you can define the access by the users or by the organization at the higher level. Similarly, you have gateways. Gateways are very important because, again, you would want to restrict certain things for certain users. You do not want them to access certain things which are not required. So you can define different gateways. You can define different kinds of access path. You can enforce policies. You can audit policies and all of those things. One of the cool things that you can do now is you can enable the model armor by default. So you can sort of select the agent and then you can enable those model armors things. We also have security access right inside this, and one of the coolest things that you get to see, which is what Naman was showing you, is that now you preemptively get all the compliance issues that are there in your agent. So if you notice on the bottom, you'll see that there are a lot of failed issues that has happened. And this is again proactively, agent platform is trying to figure out whether there has been issues or not. The last part is the evaluation, which is part of the optimize. What you see here is different kinds of evaluation that your models go through. And you can do a couple of things. You can actually do online monitors, which essentially means that you can define these logics, and these logics will keep on monitoring each and every part of your agents through the span and the traces that I was showing you. And then you can actually see the status of them. You can see the traces where they have been triggered, or you can sort of define your matrix. So if you go to create metric, you now have a way where you can define metric either through prompt or through code. So you can actually define a code and say that, hey, this is what I want you to do this. So this is the part of evaluation. Now, one last thing that I want to show you is the Gemini Enterprise. So Gemini Enterprise becomes the front of everything that you do, right? So this is pretty much like saying you have Gemini as a front end of everything that you do in the back end. The way this looks is very interesting because now you can actually just So this is how you see all the agents. So for example, if I do @ you can see my loan agent is there. And all your users can directly access these agents, and these agents can then follow all the policies, all the guardrails, and all of those things. And that's all. With that, I'm going to invite Thomas and Gauthier to talk about how they are using Agent Platform to do some amazing stuff and scale things at L'Oreal.
So hello everyone, it's so good to be there for the third time in a row speaking about AI at L'Oreal. So you have to know that the journey of L'Oreal has started in AI thanks to Google. But before jumping into what we do with Google, just a few words about who we are at L'Oreal for the one who don't know us. We are the world's largest beauty company in the world, selling 7 billion units every year through 150 countries through 40 global brands. Also, we are the fourth largest advertiser worldwide. So you can imagine that we are the leader in the world of beauty, but we are also the experts in the world of tech, able to seize what starts. And to demonstrate you that, let me tell you our story. Back in December 23, like many of you in this room, we took our first step into the Gemini era. We launched our L'Oréal GPT, a secure internal AI solution built for our employees. And honestly, we were proud. 2,000 weekly users felt like a real achievement at the beginning. But we moved fast, and we quickly realized that keeping this solution siloed won't be enough. If we truly wanted to scale AI across the company, we needed to open our homemade backend to the tech teams, giving them the building blocks to develop their own use cases in a unified and scalable way. So we transformed L'Oréal GPT into a set of reusable GenAI services. And that was our story of Next 24. And those two small projects, they grew up very fast. And by September 25, we had already 30,000 weekly users on L'Oréal GPT, and over 50 use cases in prod through the GenAI services, sending approximately 15 million messages every month to the platform. And we started to have some zero-code agents developed by the employees through L'Oréal GPT. We had built something real, something big. But with that scale came our truth. Continuing to build bulletproof, enterprise-grade technology entirely our own was no longer the smartest path forward. So we made a bold strategic decision from make to buy. We chose to leverage the best tech available, the Google Cloud Agent platform that you just saw just before, to create the L'Oréal Beauty Tech Agentic platform. Not because we couldn't build this, but because partnering with the best-in-class technology meant that we could focus on what truly matters for us, creating value for L'Oréal. And today, here at Next 26, the results speak for themselves. 41,000 weekly users on L'Oréal GPT, and 30,000 zero-code agents developed by the employees through this platform. All that running on ADK and Agent Engine. We're not just ready for the moon, we already have the rocket, and we are in flight. So, what exactly do we do? At its core, the Beauty Tech Agentic platform is simple. The single place where L'Oréal tech teams makes and buys agents, leveraging everything you saw from Aman and Levy. Think of it as a unified control tower. At the top, our everyday business applications, the one that we make, but also the one that we buy, such as Salesforce, ServiceNow, SuccessFactors, and so on. All connected and all benefiting from what sits underneath. The heart of the platform is the gateway, the layer that governs every model, every tool, every agent, with built-in guardrails. Nothing goes through without control and human oversight. It's the place for the tech teams to train models, to build and deploy agents with ADK, Agent Engine, and so on, to build tools with the MCP, and also to bring the knowledge that is mainly plugged on our data platform on BigQuery, but not only. And critically, this platform is open. External agents from our SaaS vendors, the external models, such as the Anthropic ones, the external MCP servers, they are all plugged seamlessly by leveraging standard protocols, such as A2A, MCP, UCP, and so on. And we have also two final superpowers, the observability, so we always know what's happening, the discoverability, so every team can find and reuse what already exists. One platform, every agent, full control. But Gauthier, can you tell us a bit more about what do we do to empower the team? Because you know, having the platform and the technology is not enough. And what do we need to bring that to life? Thank you, Gauthier.
Thank you, Thomas. So yes, the agentic platform is where we build agents. But building agents is only part of the challenge. The real question is, how do you move an entire company into the agentic era? For that, we need 5 pillars. On the technical side, we have the agentic toolkit and the AI gateway. But the tech alone won't drive adoption. We also need a human stack with it. So we have a center of excellence, a governance task force, and a community. So let's start with the tech. The agentic toolkit is the bread and butter of the platform. So developer must have everything they need to build, to scale, and to monitor their agents. We chose the GCP stack. Why? Because of everything we saw earlier, because it's the best stack. But here's the real magic. The platform evolves without us. With agentic demand expanding, we can't be on the critical path. So Google develops, improves, documents services, while our team can focus on bringing value. They can have access instantly to the latest features. They can upskill, but they can also learn on industry standards. On our side, what is interesting is that we can hire people that are ready from day one. So now that the developer can build agents, we need to make sure we can handle all these. And how do we reuse components at scale? That's what the gateway is for. Think of it in 3 words: discover, reuse, govern. So discover, models, MCPs, agents, guardrails, all registered in a single place. Every team can find what already exists across the group. Then reuse. Based on standard protocols, we ensure we can reuse everything we built from all our business and technical platforms. And govern. We monitor usage in real time, we validate what gets deployed, and we drive economies of scales, especially in terms of model usage. So let's see at a typical project. So on the left, you have a growing ecosystem of agents, tools, and models made available through the gateway. As a use case, you pick the model you need, your MCP, your agents, and you wire them together with ADK as the backbone. Then you plug the GCP services to handle sessions, memory, RAG. You deploy with Agent Engine, and you're good to go. No proprietary framework to maintain, no waiting for the central team. You get access to the latest models, internal and external tools and agents to build faster. It's that simple. Then, as I was saying, we need a human stack. So, starting with the center of excellence, this is our team. So we are the platform experts, providing global tools like starter packs, expert support, and we also manage a relationship with providers like Anthropic and Google. The key shift is that we went from building services for everyone to empowering everyone to build. That's a fundamental change in how we operate, and it's the only way to scale to the entire company. Then governance has to evolve too. As agentic brings new complexities, and we move from overseeing the work of a few teams to ensuring that every AI built across the company meets our standards in terms of enterprise architecture, cybersecurity, trustworthy AI, data privacy, and legal compliance. Okay, so we have the global team, and now how do we scale to all the IT team across the company? That's where the community comes in. We created what we call the lineup. These are handpicked AI champions across the organization. They are both technical experts that can tackle really complex use cases and business experts with deep knowledge of their business and organization. They are our relay network to make sure we cover all the company. And then learning. With AI, the wall between IT and business is fading. It's now easier than ever to upskill, to learn advanced concepts, to bring value. And that is something we want to embrace. AI is not only for IT. We encourage everyone to learn and contribute. The goal, let no one behind. To make all of this accessible, we need to go beyond the GCP console. It's great for developers, but we need something for everyone. And that's why we are building the Agentic Platform web app. It will be the front door to the entire platform with a catalog to discover every component available in the gateway, easy access to training path, our internal processes, global monitoring dashboards, and a feed with the latest news from the agentic world. But here is what's the most exciting. We don't just build agents with the platform, but agents are at its core. The platform, it runs on agents. And here's a first look of what it looks like. So in the platform, you have access to the catalog, the principal items, but also resources that will come. You have access to the agents, both internal and external, that can be reused in your use case, and MCPs, same thing. You can see the details of every single MCPs, the tools available, and how to connect them in your use case. And you also have access to the models. Here, we really want to be able to compare, to really choose the right one for the usage. And finally, the guardrails. So these are guardrails we want to share across multiple use cases. So just before finishing, I would like to give a big thank you to all the L'Oréal teams working on the Agentic platform. And yeah, big kudos to the teams. Thank you.
That was great. That line that you had earlier really resonated with me, from going from building services to enabling teams to be able to build products. That was really amazing. Well, if you're looking for what to do after this, there's a couple of quick QR codes you can scan. On the left is a resource for being able to check out the latest agent platform and get started. It takes you directly to our docs. And then there's also a sort of guidebook that we have on learning how agent platform can enable your team. So to bring it all together, this year with Agent Platform, you're getting a deeper ecosystem, investments in interoperability, ease of use so your entire team can work in one place, and customizability so that those agents actually work for your business. Build, scale, govern, optimize, end-to-end in one platform. And we can't wait to see what you all will build. Maybe come back again next year, show us how things have changed again.